necessary balance. I want to ask you a question. What do you believe to be the most important part of our bodies? The human brain. The human brain is our most significant organ. It can be divided into 6 subdivisions: the frontal and temporal lobes, the brainstem, the cerebellum, and the occipital and parietal lobes. Humanity lies within these parts, within this complex organ. They are the puzzle pieces of people. The brain controls everything about us. It transmits information with its neurons, and neuroplasticity, put simply, is changes in the brain's neurons. These changes are formed by experiences or memories, and they occur while learning. New connections are formed, pathways are reorganized, and sometimes new neurons are created during learning. Our personality is the result of our brain, and our brain is the result of our learning. You can alter a person entirely by what you teach them. Like clay, you can mold them. Martin Luther King Jr., the world's famous civil rights activist, said, "Intelligence plus character. That is the true goal of education." He was right. As a student, I learn, and my knowledge is the result of my learning. But my knowledge contributes to my personal identity. My character, my inherent dispositions are in part the result of my education. Hatred and compassion, they are learned, dependent entirely on what one's educators teach. If I had been taught that compassion was a negative thing from a young age, I'd view it as negative, and it would be difficult to rewire my brain and teach me otherwise. As a society, as we strive to educate, we must strive to shape people into good people, to teach goodness. And the theme, intelligence plus character, that is the true goal of education, applies so deeply in today's political and social environment. Humanity is neither black nor white, but rather we are a morally gray sort. Racism is still an example of a conflict within the modern world. Martin Luther King Jr. fought racism in America. And though things have positively progressed since this time, racism has not disappeared. Hate groups, systematic racism, and discrimination due to race are still issues prevalent. How do we fight it? In part, with education. Youth must be taught about equality and ethics. History is made up of stories of humanity's rights and wrongs, and people's knowledge of past sins is imperative to an improved future. Literature is insight into those different from us, for inked pages spur empathy and compassion. Moreover, more of our youth must be educated, but adolescents and adults are not excluded. Racism is a strand of grass in a pasture, and like blades of grass, there are numerous evils in this world. But education is our weapon battling them. I am extremely inspired by Yara Shahidi. She's an actress you may know as Zoe, the oldest daughter on the television show Blackish. She exemplifies the phrase intelligence plus character. That is the true goal of education. Her career started as a young actress, but as her platform has grown, she's done more than acting. She uses interviews to speak on things such as racial justice, labor equality, and environmentalism. Yara's Club, a formal entity, has partnered with the Young Women's Leadership School. They set up virtual situations where students deliberate and tackle social disparities. She motivates me to educate my peers as much as I can, whether verbally or digitally, as well as taking actions towards positive progression, such as signing petitions. I am 15 years old. I was born in 2005. This places me in the cohort of Generation Z. I'm sure you've heard the phrase Gen Z frequently. We're trending. It is imperative that my generation educates ourselves and our cohort. We must be intelligent and build character. I have educated myself about modern problems largely through reading reliable articles, and everybody ought to. Moreover, social media such as Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat is a wonderful way for Generation Z to educate others by using our own platforms. And for those able, attending protests is a brilliant way to educate others. Bear compassion for your neighbor. Educate yourself on his oppressors. You further yourself both in knowledge and integrity, because to care is to listen to the struggles of those around you. I urge my generation and I remind myself, do not become desensitized to the horrors of this world. Being emotive and caring, it is not a weakness. Desire spurs change. We must care about one another if this nation is to survive. Learn. Education is never inconsequential. It is the fertilizer for the world, and if wielded correctly, it is humanity's greatest weapon against our own transgressions. Within words, find hope. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, intelligence plus character, that is the true goal of education. Thank you.